Hello and welcome to a new edition of Designed for the Times. I'm your host, Richard Christopher Scuderi. Well, I'm very happy to have my guest in studio, somebody who, when we do our shows together, she comes in the top 10, not once, but twice. So we're on round 3. I'd like to introduce Dottie Polak, and she's with Weichert Realtors in Flemington, New Jersey. And, you know, Dottie and I have a long and rich history together. In addition to being a top realtor and a producer, Dottie also has sort of a design background. She was my decorative artist for a number of years.
Over 10 years,
right.
12 years.
So she really has a sense of artistry and style. So the show that we're doing today is a little bit different. We went out into the field to Flemington Tile on Route 202 in Flemington, New Jersey. I find that people are using tile in unbelievable new ways. Now you're seeing it from the perspective of a realtor, right? So when you go into places that have been renovated to sell, are you seeing interesting things in tile? Because I'm seeing new things in tile that I haven't seen before.
Yeah, I think the big thing is the wood grain look.
Oh yeah, very much so.
It's beautiful.
So what we opted to do today was to talk about from a real estate standpoint, about tile projects, whether it be for the kitchen, for the bathroom, or anywhere in the home that you're using tile, with whether we feel that aesthetically it's a good choice, but also from a real estate standpoint, do you think if it's a good choice for resale? So lovely place, 100 in Tile, great selection. And they just redid it, so they were done in vignettes, so it's easier for people to identify what they like because it's all kind of put together. Now, when you're in lots of people's homes in the Hunterdon County, and probably some of the surrounding counties as well.
Exactly.
When you go into bathrooms of people's homes to look at them, what makes you go, when you look at it and they go, ugh, what is like a no-go when you're trying to sell a house? Is there something that's a no-go?
Well,
is it colored tile? I mean, what's a no-go?
Or busy pattern, too busy. It's okay to have busy pattern, but you don't want to have multiple busy patterns in there.
When I was growing up in 1970, which shows how old I was, in 1970 when my dad built our house, we had 3 bathrooms, which was kind of maybe generous at the time for our family. And my parents went to the local tile shop, and in one setting, very quickly, they picked 3 colors for the bathroom. The first floor was yellow, and then there were 2 bathrooms upstairs. The Jack and Jill was, guess?
Green.
Pink.
Pink, okay.
And then the master was blue.
Blue.
And that was it, and everything matched. So your floor tile was powder blue, and your toilet was powder blue, and your sink was powder blue.
Yeah.
And I think your shower pan probably back then was probably acrylic, right?
Yeah.
And then your wall tile, I think, was blue. And that's how people did things. And people, now you tell me, I think there's a good amount of people on earth that buy their house, build it, and don't change it. How many times do you go to do a listing appointment, or you go into somebody's house or a showing, and they have those, you know?
There's still a lot of that
Wonder
retro
Bread
look
colors,
out there.
yeah.
There really is.
So when you're going to list and somebody has a house, and say it's in the mid-range, so for New Jersey, maybe like the 500,000, that range that sells, you know, not cheap, but sort of in the middle, and you go and you have the Wonder Bread color bathrooms, you have the blue, the pink, and the yellow. For you to get that house sold, is that a no-go? Is that where people should come in and do simple white and change it out? What do you, when you get in that environment, what do you do? Especially bathrooms, right? It's kitchens and bathrooms.
Yes.
What do you usually say?
If they're interested in doing the reno, then yes, please do it, because that'll bring them more money. It'll sell quicker. We have a lot of people that are younger coming up that don't have the time, the knowledge to do the kind of work that needs to be done, and don't want to be bothered, because some of them have children, to have a room under renovation. Maybe there's not an additional bathroom to be done. So it is a good idea to get that done first. Something more neutral colors is the best for selling. I
tell people you can't go wrong with white. Not off-white, not almond, not bisque, white, because you can always accentuate it in any color you like, and it transitions well. When I think of the first 5 years of my life, and we lived in an old 2-family house on Baldwin Street in New Brunswick, when I think of Nana and Pop's bath, it was a beautiful bath. It was like a 1920s bath, right? With gorgeous hex tile like you would want today. Gorgeous hex tile, white subway tile in the shower, and then there was a band of black, and the soap dishes were black marble, and it was classic and simple. And if they'd never changed that, it would have worked. By my parents' house, that was so much newer, had to be changed in the end
Yeah,
because it was
yeah.
dated. So I think when you stay with a classic white or a classic white in bathroom, I think that's an easier resale, isn't it?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So we took some images and some videos. I don't know what the sound quality is in the video, but we're going to put them up so you can take a look at them here. And I'm curious from a resale perspective, what you think of some of the new trends. And I'm going to talk to you about some of the trends that I like and don't like and get your opinion on that.
Okay.
So maybe we could pull up the first image. Okay, so here's an example of field tile, and field tile just happens to be inexpensive ceramic tile that people use for shower enclosures. As you see here, we showed the gamut of colors. You have sort of a cream, you have sort of a watery blue, and that, it's hard to see, but the watery blue is glass tile.
Okay.
And then all
Oh,
the
I can
different
tell, yeah.
all the different colors of the rainbow. You have your classic white subway tile. You have the gray, which is very popular and also a neutral. The one to the right, white, has a texture to it. Do you see how it's sort of a
Yes.
dimpled look to it?
Yes.
And then we have sort of a blue-green to the left there, and then just classic straight white, and then a light gray. And in talking and taking a look at this still shot of the different tiles, for terms of somebody, if you're going to sell their house, what would you suggest that they do? And I'll tell you what I suggest they do.
I would do just the plain white on the left.
Okay.
middle. Yeah.
Because classic white sells,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Do you think anybody's going to not buy a house because there's a white bathroom?
No, they will.
But somebody who has a pink tile probably might not
Right,
buy that
right.
house because it's just too much work.
It's personal. It's
It's
custom.
too daunting. Okay, let's take a look at the next image. Okay, so this is terrific, and I want to talk about trends. And trends are great because people are always looking, when they list a house, to do what's in style because it makes the house seem newer. So if your house was built in 1967 and you put the latest paint colors in, it does make that house look newer. If you take that 1967 stained trim and doors and make them a new modern white color, it makes it look newer. If you take those floors from 1967 that were all different and you do wood all the way through, there's subtle ways to make an older house look new. So sometimes trends are good when you're looking to sell a house because those are the little subtle things
Yeah.
that make a house look newer. So I wanted to show you this because this is for Hunterdon Tile. This is their new display. They just finished the entire showroom. So what they wanted to show off in here is one of the new trend colors, and I don't know if you can tell what color the
Is it a
vanity
navy? Is it a dark navy? It's very pretty.
So one of the things in 2019, because if people watch this 30 years from now, they'll say, what
Yeah.
year was this? In 2019, is they're trying to sell blue as a color for hard surfaces. So they chose to do this 60-inch to double vanity, like for a master or an upstairs bath with undermount sinks, a white top, which is very neutral, and then a navy blue vanity. What do you think of that?
It's gorgeous.
It's visually stunning. It's something that I would, if I was doing a shore house, which I'm doing a shore house in Manasquan now do, I'm not sure that I would use navy blue as a cabinet color in a mainstream house, even if they weren't, you know when people tell you it's your forever house? Well, no one lives
Yeah.
forever, so there's no such thing as forever house. I don't know that I would recommend that. Give me your opinion aesthetically first, and then as a realtor.
It is beautiful. It is trendy.
Yeah. Even though it's classic, because you see here, Dottie, there's a
Yes,
classic
the
shaker
style.
door. It's a style that's not going to go out of style per se, and it's pleasant.
It is
And
pleasant.
Blue is one of those weird colors, especially navy, that it's a commitment to color,
Yeah.
but it's also a neutral.
It
because you
is.
can put blue with anything, and it looks good. It looks good with chocolate brown. It looks good with gray. It looks good with yellow. It looks good with
Yes.
so many orange. You know, we love the
Yes.
blue and orange.
The lime green.
Right, so it's a neutral, but yet it's a commitment to color. Would you say people were going to do a flip and they made that the master? Would you say yes or no?
I would say no.
I would say no too.
I would go with a stained color or white.
Oh yeah. Are people bored of white vanities yet, or you think they're still doing
Yes.
white vanities?
The people are doing them, but I hear from buyers, I don't want white. They're starting to like the stained color again.
Yeah, I think, and I think,
Cherries.
and what they're starting to do, I think, and you're right about that, is if they have multiple bathrooms today. Newer houses have more than bathrooms. Maybe do the master in white, or maybe they'll do the master in some sort of a stain. They don't do every room in white,
Right.
and that's a way to make it look a little bit
And
different.
a little more custom.
But some of the tile surfaces are still the neutral white.
Yeah.
So in this case, the top is a piece of quartz with the undermount sinks, and they're the new sort of square undermount sinks. I shouldn't say square, they're rectangular. And then this is something that I'm starting to see trending in bathrooms, in master bathrooms, that people are putting tile on the wall all the way up in the higher end homes as a pop, like an accent wall. And this is a very expensive, that's a sort of a geometric, beautiful tile that's there, very expensive. Now I think this is quite stunning. What do you think of that?
I don't know. I like it, but how 5 years from now?
Well, I like it.
You're stuck with it. It's almost like a wallpaper. You're stuck with that pattern.
Well, I think wallpaper would be easier than that.
Yes.
But having said that, I would say no on this. And the reason I would say no on this is because nothing I think that is a hard surface should be too personalized. And for you and I, we love this. We're in the business. We're seeing what's new and trending. And that's why this makes a good display, because it's slightly controversial. And that's getting somebody that's on the fence with their existing almond where everything works and still looks good to upgrade to something new. And kind of saying, come on, you got to change with the time. So that's why it's sort of a good front window type of thing. Maybe if I were down the shore and I was doing the master, maybe I'd go with navy, because I think navy carries a lot of weight down there. I probably, in this case, even though I love it, would say no.
I agree.
All right, let's go on to the next image. Okay, so this is another display where the vanity is white. But one of the trends in vanities in bathrooms is that they're looking like freestanding pieces of furniture. Now, this particular vanity could very easily be in a powder room. It's a smaller vanity. Probably not. Probably it would be in a upstairs bath, maybe that was attached, but not a master. And the pullouts are becoming, both in kitchens and bathrooms, more conscious. What do you think of this as doing as a redo, as being a positive or a negative?
I like it. I think it's a positive.
Okay.
I think it's more classic.
Right. What about the functionality of having a vanity that actually doesn't have doors, but actually has pull-out drawers?
There's things that people put in vanities that you need doors for, large bottles of shampoos, hand lotions that won't fit in the drawers. So as functionality, I don't think it'd be as functional.
Let's talk about the tile in this specific case. So the tile in here really has a lot of marbling in it. This, I do believe, is not stone, but actually a tile, a nice porcelain tile. And let's look at the tile that's the backdrop. To me, the tile that's the backdrop is too much.
Too much, too big.
Too much. And I think when you have a lot of white surfaces with tile, you need to bring wall color in. Because otherwise it's too much going on. And I think this is kind of busy to the eye. I think the white vanity is good for resale. I think some of the trend features by having the drawers are good there.
I like the floor tile.
I like the floor tile, but I probably would have offset it with a beautiful paint color. Okay, let's take a look at the next image. Okay, this is tile.
The wood grain.
So one of the things that I'm going to let you talk about what you think about tile with wood grain, and then I'm going to talk about some of my things, because I have very strong feelings about it. Now, this is lovely, but tell me what you think of it.
I would not use...
Wait, I think we have video here.
Marble, it's Carrara and a blue stone mixed together. Blue vanity, quartz countertop.
Okay. So when we were talking about the floor tile here looking like wood and being tile, tell me what you think of that.
I wouldn't use it in a room where it butts up against real wood. I'm seeing that.
And people make that mistake a lot. Here's where I think tile that looks like wood isn't a good application. If you have a restaurant, if you have a business, if you're refinishing or finishing your basement, I don't like any surface on below grade, especially with the change in the water table and so on. Either polish your existing concrete or put tile down. So in a basement, because it's not on the same level as the higher floors as one continuous surface, I think in that case that's a great solution. You wouldn't want to do laminate, it softens and swells with water. You wouldn't want to do anything else but this surface. So I would say use this sparingly, but if you have a house that has real hardwood floors and then you go up to your bathrooms and they have this, no go.
No go.
Negative. It's going to hurt you, I think, with resale. Okay.
Because it gets into the subject of too many floor changes.
Right. Don't you think people more no matter what their style is, are going towards continuity.
Yes.
Remember when you and I started, I would do so many paint color consultations. I think I paid for my first couple of cars. I would do paint color consultations like every day because everybody had every room
A different color.
a different color. In fact, I had a lady who just bought a new house. She was in a townhouse in, I guess, probably like 93 when we were doing her stuff. And a lot of little rooms, and I did every room a different color, and she loved color. And then she just bought a single family house, and I came out and I did the color consultation. They didn't even have the CO yet, and she goes, the builder's gonna paint, just pick the colors for me. And I go, and she goes, we're done? We're done? I said, she goes, it's so different now. Everything is a neutral gray with crisp white trim, and just some of the bedrooms have some color to them. And that's part of, I think, the change in times and what people are looking for. And it's not even at that point so much for resale, but as to how people live today.
Yeah.
Do you find that you're advising people to do more continuity, even just with color on the walls?
Yes. Yes. That is what is trending now, and that's what people prefer.
Right.
Because people's furniture are also continuity.
Right.
And they'll have the same color sofa in the family room as probably the living room, just a different style.
Because what that subtly does to the eye is it tricks it that if you don't have an open concept, it kind of makes it an open concept. If I'm looking down, it's kind of hard to do here, but if I'm looking down the hall at PCTV in that long, narrow corridor, and all I see as far as the eye goes is that same floor, it makes the space look bigger, right?
Yes.
Same thing with the wall. But if I would do, and I don't remember if we did this, I worked on a commercial project and I did something called color blocking. Color blocking is when you have a space that's so big, you do blocks in areas of color and it brings it in. The same thing is true about continuity. And I think in real estate, you're seeing more and more continuity, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, let's go to the next one. I don't know if this is a video or if this is a still shot. Okay. Again, tile. Go ahead.
Weedy, waterproof products. They're available for shower pans, shower walls, all kinds of different applications for this product.
Okay, this is Weedy Systems, and I don't know, I only recently learned about it. I currently have 3 new bathrooms going at exactly the same time, 3 sets of permits and open construction plans. And I'm using something called the Weedy system, which is made in Germany. The Weedy, do you know what, have you heard of it before?
No, I haven't.
Instead of doing a prefabricated acrylic shower pan, it's a system that goes into place immediately and it allows you to tile directly on it. So you have a shower pan that's tile instead of it being an acrylic.
Nicer.
And
so
don't you think?
So the tile pan basically is like a template of some sort.
Correct.
To allow the tile to go on top.
And it goes right on.
That's awesome.
And I'm telling you, that's one of the new things that's trending in design is using. And Weedy is a brand. It's one of the first ones that did it. There are probably going to be copycats, and it'll be less expensive. But not only do they do the shower pan, and of course have the bigger sizes. I'm taking one of my clients who had a shower that was 36 by 36, and now we're making it 36 by 60. Because what I'm doing is I'm adding a bench.
Yes.
How do you feel about benches?
Love it.
It's everything, right?
Yes.
It's everything.
Everybody comments on that when they see that in a house.
So I would say something that's trending is people are doing their showers in a way that are more thoughtful. We're seeing more clear glass doors.
Yes.
When's the last time you bought a shower curtain? Never.
No.
Clear glass doors, a shower pan that is tile, not acrylic, and then a seat.
Yeah.
And the seat is tiled in the same field tile that goes around the
Yes.
shower.
Yes.
Okay, let's take a look at the next video.
These are porcelain, not cement products, pattern tiles. They're low maintenance and relatively inexpensive.
Okay, now I would say when I watch HGTV or some of the design shows, and a lot of them are based west, you know, in Western Canada, where things are a little bit more LA-ish and modern, or in LA where things are more on the contemporary tone. In all the programs, I see this all the time.
Yes.
This is modern. This is trendy. This is what people are looking for. Yay or nay?
Nay.
Yes, nay. Tell me why.
It's going to go out in a couple of years, and you're putting all that money in that pattern in
Right.
there, and it's not. You go to sell the house, and it's not going to go with the flow with somebody else's.
I even think in
belongings.
your own taste. I remember one time we had been in our house 10 years, and I was going up the stairs with my mom, and she looked into and she had put so much into the living room, and she goes, "Oh my God, what did I do?" Because she went to an extreme for a look. And when you do that, it has a window and a shelf life.
Yes.
In her case, it was things that we could change. But in a bathroom or a kitchen surface where it's a lot of effort and money to change, I think you have to always keep your surfaces neutral. I will tell you that this man said, "These are gorgeous. I would never do them in my own home because they're short." Some of them are, but some of the patterns are already kind of out of style.
They are beautiful. Beautiful.
They are beautiful.
One of the patterns similar to one of them was in the kitchen as a backsplash.
Right.
And the first thing my client said was, "Wow, that's really busy."
Okay.
Because you've got the wood grain, you've got the wood look, you've got that busy pattern, and then the pattern of the granite. It was very busy.
So one of the things that I'm curious of what you think about, which I think could be an exception to this, would be one of the things that's trending in tile in showers is that people, instead of doing a shelf, either a single shelf or they do with a double shelf or multiple shelves because it impedes upon a smaller space to begin with, is if they have the ability to do it, they're going into the wall and they're creating niches. They're creating niches. So I'm thinking that maybe one of them, if it didn't have color to it, maybe something like that, that's somewhat more timeless with a white tile. In that case, with a niche, because you have glass, that would work.
Yes.
But you'd have to use it sparingly.
Very sparingly.
And you have to be very, like the one that's next to, if you look where Chris's head is, if you look at there's one that's a geometric cubes. That's probably going to be out of style in 10 minutes.
Yeah, yeah.
And very taste specific. But some of these I think could be used as a niche when it came to bathrooms. In terms of a kitchen, if you do a classic subway tile backsplash, using it maybe just behind the stove.
The stove, yeah.
As a little bit of an inset with a border, or even the Schluter now, which they're using more often, I think that could work.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't make too much of a commitment to color, and I would go with a classic pattern, because some of the modern patterns that are today are still classic, right? So if you take a look at some of these patterns, what do you see here? You see trellis, you see some of the patterns that are kind of timeless, right? And then you see things that are very modern. So I think that would probably be, for me, from an aesthetic standpoint, that would be something I would guide people towards. From a practical standpoint, let's say if someone's doing a flip, would you avoid this altogether, or would you do? You would avoid it altogether.
Yes.
What would you say, Dottie, for a flip is probably the best look for a bathroom?
A subway tile. The
All
white subway tile.
And kitchen too.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Unless the cabinets are wood grain,
Right.
then something that goes better with it, not white.
I would still say, and it's been trending for a long time, most people are finally embracing wood on the floor in the kitchen because we're using a lot of painted cabinet doors.
Yes.
If we're starting to see, which we are, a return, but in kind of a different way. They don't look like the rich red cherry doors I remember you and I buying for bathrooms. They're different. The stains are different, right?
Yes, yes.
They don't seem as intense.
I agree.
Right, they're like almost like they look like a wash. I don't think I'm articulating that correctly, but stains are coming back. I'm seeing stains that look like they're an olive color. I'm seeing stains that are gray, and I'm seeing things that are stained again. If you're doing them in cabinetry against wood, do you think that's going to change that trend?
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? In kitchens, I'm talking about.
Yes.
Because you have to have a sense of balance.
Right.
When I built one of my first houses, it was in a development called The Hills in Bedminster. And I would look in it, and I'm surprised I didn't get arrested. I was peeping Tom, but I was looking at, because they weren't occupied yet, how people were doing their kitchens and the choices that they made. And I would look, and so many people back in those days did a blonde or a light colored oak floor, and then the same on the cabinetry.
Yeah.
And that looked terrible.
So much wood.
It was too much wood.
Yes.
It was too much wood.
Got to break it up.
You had to break it up. So that was the danger in doing that. But because we've been trending so much with a painted look, the flooring kind of works. It can work if you're doing stain on stain. I think for me, and this is a good question to you because you used to paint a lot of cabinets, right? I think there has to be a lot of contrast. So let's say I have a small kitchen, which is not good for resale, but we do sort of a new kind of modern stain that's sort of like a green-gray color and a dark hardwood floor. I think they could coexist together pretty nicely.
Yes.
But if you have a whatever color stained floor and then something similar with the cabinets, not only is it too much, but they kind of can clash. What's your opinion of that?
I personally prefer to see, I like if it's painted cabinets, either
Right.
tile
Right.
or wood is fine, but definitely wood cabinets you have to have tile.
Not to get too personal, but you have a very beautiful, in your own house, you have a very beautiful sort of a Saltillo tile. And that transitions to your kitchen, I think,
Which is painted cabinets.
which is painted cabinets. But how do you feel from a practical standpoint of having a kitchen that's tile? Hard on your feet, easier on your feet? Would you, if you could do it again, would you have done wood? What would you do?
No, I like having tile.
And you've said that to me many
Yes,
times.
yes.
Why do you like tile better?
Easier cleanup. I have dogs, they scratch hardwood.
Right, animals. People say
Yeah.
when they have animals that might be a reason to do the
Yeah.
tile in the kitchen.
It's more forgiving for scratches and things.
When you transition into the addition that you're doing,
Mm-hmm.
because your tile starts at the front door, right? So
My
your
whole first floor is tile.
tile. So and it's like a Saltillo. It's a very pretty
Yes.
tile. So it's everything. So you do have the continuity. There isn't a break.
Right.
When you add your addition, will you continue that, or will you break that because that's a look you've done a long time ago and you want to do something different?
We're
Will
getting
you
rid of all
continue-
that tile.
You are?
Yes.
Okay. And what are you going to do?
Probably either tumbled marble or something, I'm not sure. Just a
But
neutral color.
other tile.
Other tile.
And is
We'll
that
rip
because
all
of
that out.
animals, or because you like the look
Because I like
better?
the look.
Yeah. So I think people that are tile people really love tile,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a place to do that, and there's a place to do that in the fact that could be good for resale for a lot of people because it's easier to take care of
Mm-hmm. It's
and clean.
neutral.
But I think the thing is about the continuity of the tile, right? So tile has to be continuous. So you don't want your foyer to be one,
Right.
and your kitchen to be a different tile, and your new addition to be another tile.
Mm-hmm.
Had you thought about doing the wood look as the tile throughout?
No.
Tell me why.
I think it's a little more contemporary.
Yeah,
for my
and might
taste.
trend, right?
Yes.
I think that it might trend. In a basement below grade, not as a big deal.
Right.
But when it's your statement, when you walk into a beautiful house,
Yeah.
I think
See,
it's
I
a-
can see that it's tile.
Right.
Because it's not smaller plank, but you can tell it's tile. It's
yeah,
beautiful, but
you
it's
can
just
tell
not
it's tile.
mine.
Exactly.
not my
So we have
taste.
about 10 seconds left. Tell us how they can contact you at Weichert Realtors, Flemington,
Yes.
Weichert.
Dottie Polak with the Weichert Realtors in Flemington.
Mm.
My cell phone number is 609-357-8436. I'm a full-time agent, and I work in Hunterdon, Somerset, Mercer County. I have my PA license, and so I'm available for anybody wants to sell or buy.
Okay, we're off. We're done.
Okay, good, okay.
I don't think all of that got in, but
Good,
that's okay.
that's
but
fine.
your name and your phone number
Yes,
got in.
okay.
Thank you for doing this, and you're
No
so
problem.
good we do it in one.